Private John Steele hangs from the church steeple in Sainte-Mère-Église. His parachute is caught. He's playing dead while German soldiers shoot his comrades in the town square below. It's 2:30 a.m., June 6, 1944. Steele doesn't know he'll survive. He doesn't know that 20 miles away, 156,000 men are about to storm 5 beaches. He doesn't know this is the largest amphibious invasion in human history. He only knows that if the Germans look up, he's dead. This is D-Day, the day when the fate of civilization hung on a few yards of sand, when young men charged into hell to save a world they'd never see. This is the story of the longest day. The Fortress. Adolf Hitler stands before a map of Europe. From Norway to Spain, 2,400 miles of coastline, all under Nazi control. Build me a wall, Hitler orders, an impregnable fortress. Make it so strong that no army can ever invade Europe again. The Atlantic Wall. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, is put in charge. He arrives in France in November 1943 and is horrified by what he finds. This is not a fortress, he tells his officers. This is a propaganda myth. Rommel works like a man possessed. In 6 months, he transforms the Atlantic Wall into a real killing machine. 4 million mines planted on the beaches, steel obstacles in the water to rip apart landing craft, concrete bunkers with interlocking fields of fire, artillery positions on every cliff, machine gun nests every 100 yards. At Omaha Beach, Rommel places the 352nd Infantry Division, elite troops, veterans of the Eastern Front, the best Germany has. The enemy must be destroyed in the water, Rommel tells his commanders. Not a single man must reach the beach alive. By June 1944, the Atlantic Wall has 300,000 soldiers, 500 artillery pieces, 50 million mines. Rommel believes it's impregnable. He's about to be proven wrong. The plan. London, January 1944. General Dwight Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces, studies the invasion plans. Operation Overlord. The largest military operation ever conceived. 156,000 men, 5,000 ships, 11,000 aircraft, all converging on a 50-mile stretch of Normandy coast. 5 beaches, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. The Americans will take Utah and Omaha. The British will take Gold and Sword. The Canadians will take Juno. But first, the paratroopers. At midnight, 23,000 American and British paratroopers will drop behind enemy lines. Their mission: capture bridges, destroy artillery, create chaos, prevent German reinforcements from reaching the beaches. Then, at dawn, the largest naval armada in history will bombard the coast. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, thousands of tons of explosives. Finally, at 6:30 a.m., the first wave hits the beaches. Eisenhower knows the odds. His planners estimate 10,000 casualties in the first day, maybe more. The night before D-Day, Eisenhower writes a letter taking full responsibility if the invasion fails. The troops, the air, and the Navy did all that bravery and devotion to duty could do. If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine alone. He puts the letter in his pocket. He'll destroy it if they succeed, publish it if they fail. June 5th, 9:45 p.m. Eisenhower visits the 101st Airborne. Young men, faces painted black, checking their equipment. Many won't survive the night. "Don't worry, General. We'll take care of this," one paratrooper says. Eisenhower salutes them, turns away. An aide sees tears in his eyes. At 10 p.m., Eisenhower gives the order. "Okay, let's go." The paratroopers. June 6th, 12:15 a.m. 822 C-47 transport planes cross the English Channel. Inside, 13,000 American paratroopers of the 82nd and 101st Airborne. Private First Class John Fitzgerald, 101st Airborne, sits in the darkness. He's 19 years old, from Boston. This is his first combat jump. 30 seconds, the jump master shouts. Anti-aircraft fire erupts. Tracers fill the sky. A C-47 explodes in flames. Go! 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 Fitzgerald jumps into the darkness. His parachute opens. Below, tracers, explosions, chaos. He lands hard in a flooded field, water up to his chest. His equipment weighs 100 pounds. He struggles to stay afloat. Around him, men are drowning, weighted down by equipment, unable to free themselves from their parachutes. 36 paratroopers drown in the flooded fields of Normandy. Fitzgerald cuts himself free, crawls to dry land. He's alone, separated from his unit, lost. He hears a sound, a metallic click-clack, the recognition signal. He responds with his cricket clicker. A figure emerges from the darkness, another paratrooper, then another, then 5 more. "Anyone know where we are?" Fitzgerald asks. Nobody does. The drop was scattered. Paratroopers are spread across 25 miles. Units are mixed. Officers are separated from their men. It's chaos. But it's also brilliant chaos, because the Germans are just as confused. Sainte-Mère-Église. 2 a.m. The town of Sainte-Mère-Église. Paratroopers of the 82nd Airborne drop directly onto the town. It's a disaster. A building is on fire. The town square is lit up like daylight. German soldiers see the paratroopers descending and open fire. Men are shot while still in the air. Bodies hang from trees, telephone poles, buildings. Private John Steele's parachute catches on the church steeple. He hangs there, 50 feet up, playing dead while Germans shoot his comrades below. He hangs there for 2 hours. But other paratroopers land outside the town. They regroup. At 4:30 a.m., they attack. Lieutenant Colonel Edward Krauss leads 180 men into Sainte-Mère-Église. House-to-house fighting, grenades, close combat. By 5 a.m., the town is liberated, the first town in France freed on E-Day. Krauss raises an American flag over the town square, the same flag that flew over Naples when the Allies captured it. John Steele is finally cut down from the steeple. He survives. Sainte-Mère-Église is free. Pointe du Hoc, 5 a.m., 15 miles east. Lieutenant Colonel Earl Rudder briefs his men, 225 Rangers, the elite of the elite. Their mission, scale the 100-foot cliffs of Pointe du Hoc, destroy the German artillery battery at the top, 6 155mm guns that can hit both Utah and Omaha beaches. "It's a suicide mission," one ranger says. "Probably, but if we don't take out those guns, thousands of men will die on the beaches." 6:30 a.m. The Rangers approach the cliffs in landing craft. German soldiers on top throw grenades down, machine gun fire. The Rangers fire rocket-propelled grappling hooks. Ropes and ladders shoot up the cliff face. The Rangers climb, hand over hand, 100 feet straight up, under fire. Sergeant Leonard Lamel reaches the top first. Germans are waiting. He shoots 2, bayonets a third. More Rangers reach the top. They fight their way inland. They reach the artillery positions. The guns are gone. The Germans moved them inland days ago. Dummy wooden guns remain. "Spread out," Rudder orders. "Find those guns." Lommel and Sergeant Jack Kuhn search the area. They find a camouflaged road. Follow it. There, hidden in an orchard, all 6 guns, unguarded, ready to fire on the beaches. Lommel and Kuhn have no explosives left. They use thermite grenades, smash the guns' traversing mechanisms, destroy the ammunition. The guns are neutralized. Of the 225 Rangers who climbed Pointe du Hoc, only 90 are still able to fight by the end of D-Day, but they saved thousands of lives. Omaha Beach. The approach. 6 a.m. 10 miles offshore. The largest naval armada in history. 5,000 ships stretching to the horizon. Battleships Texas and Arkansas open fire. 14-inch guns. The sound is deafening. Shells scream overhead toward the German positions. In the landing craft, men vomit from seasickness. The English Channel is rough. Waves crash over the sides. Men are soaked, freezing, terrified. Private Robert Sales, 29th Infantry Division, is 18 years old, from Virginia. He's never been in combat. "What do you think it'll be like?" he asks the man next to him. "Hell," the man responds. The naval bombardment stops. Silence. Then the landing craft engines roar. They head toward shore. 6:30 a.m. The first wave approaches Omaha Beach. The plan: land at low tide, cross 300 yards of open beach, reach the seawall, climb the bluffs, destroy the German positions. The plan assumes the naval bombardment destroyed the German defenses. It didn't. Omaha Beach. The slaughter. 6:31 a.m. The ramps drop. Machine gun fire erupts instantly. The sound is like ripping cloth amplified 1,000 times. Men in the front are cut down immediately. Bodies fall into the water. "Get off the boat!" sergeants shout. Sales jumps into the water. It's over his head. His equipment drags him down. He struggles to stay afloat. Around him, men are drowning. Others are hit by machine gun fire. The water turns red. Sales reaches the beach, lies flat behind a steel obstacle. Bullets snap overhead. Mortars explode. Men scream. He looks around. Bodies everywhere. Wounded men crying for medics. Dead men floating in the surf. The beach is a killing zone. The Germans have perfect fields of fire from the bluffs. Every inch of the beach is covered. There's no cover, no concealment, just 300 yards of open sand. Company A, 116th Infantry, 200 men. Within 10 minutes, 96% casualties. Only 8 men reach the seawall unwounded. The plan is collapsing. At 8 a.m., General Omar Bradley, commanding from a ship offshore, receives the reports. Omaha Beach is a disaster. Men pinned down, massive casualties, no progress. Bradley considers abandoning Omaha, diverting troops to Utah Beach. But on Omaha, something is happening. Omaha Beach, the breakthrough. 8:30 a.m., the seawall. Hundreds of men huddled against the wall, pinned down, too terrified to move. Brigadier General Norman Cota, 29th Division, lands with the 5th Wave. He's 51 years old, calm, fearless. He walks along the seawall, under fire, organizing men. "Gentlemen, we are being killed here on the beach," he says calmly. "Let's move inland and get killed there." Nobody moves. Cota sees a group of Rangers. "Rangers, lead the way!" The Rangers stand, fix bayonets, blow a hole in the barbed wire with Bangalore torpedoes. They charge up the bluff. Others follow. Colonel George Taylor, 16th Infantry, shouts the most famous words of D-Day. "There are only 2 kinds of people on this beach, the dead and those who are about to die. Now let's get the hell out of here." Men start moving, in small groups, individually, up the bluffs, through the minefields, toward the German positions. Private Sales follows a sergeant up a narrow ravine. Germans fire down at them. The sergeant is hit, falls. Sales keeps climbing. He reaches a German bunker, throws a grenade through the firing slit. Explosion. Silence. All along the bluffs, small groups of Americans are doing the same, destroying bunkers, clearing trenches, fighting hand to hand. By noon, the Americans control the bluffs. Omaha Beach is secured. But the cost is staggering. 2,400 American casualties on Omaha Beach alone, more than all the other beaches combined. Utah Beach. 6:30 a.m., Utah Beach, 5 miles west of Omaha. The landing craft drift 2,000 yards south of their intended target, a navigation error. It's the luckiest mistake of D-Day. The intended landing zone is heavily defended. The actual landing zone is lightly defended. Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt, Jr., 56 years old, son of President Theodore Roosevelt, lands with the first wave. He's the only general to land with the first assault troops. He walks the beach under fire, cane in one hand, map in the other, completely calm. "We'll start the war from right here," he announces. Utah Beach is secured by noon. Only 197 casualties, the lightest of all 5 beaches. Roosevelt dies of a heart attack 5 weeks later. He's awarded the Medal of Honor. Gold, Juno, Sword beaches. 7:30 a.m., the British and Canadian beaches. Gold Beach, British 50th Division lands, fierce fighting. By afternoon, they're 6 miles inland. Juno Beach, Canadian 3rd Division lands, heaviest resistance, house-to-house fighting in coastal towns. By evening, they're the deepest inland of any Allied force. Sword Beach, British 3rd Division lands. Objective, capture Caen by nightfall. They don't make it. Caen won't fall for 6 weeks. But all 3 beaches are secured. The German response. 10 a.m., Berchtesgaden, Germany. Adolf Hitler is asleep. His staff refuses to wake him. When he finally wakes at noon, he's told about the invasion. "So they've come," Hitler says. He's strangely calm. He believes Normandy is a diversion. The real invasion will come at Calais. He refuses to release the Panzer divisions held in reserve. It's the most important decision of D-Day, and Hitler makes the wrong one. By the time the Panzers are released, it's too late. Rommel's absence. Erwin Rommel isn't even in France. June 6th is his wife's birthday. He's in Germany, bringing her a present, a pair of shoes. When he hears about the invasion, he races back to France, but he's 500 miles away. It takes him 12 hours. "The war is lost," he tells his aide during the drive. Rommel knows that without air superiority, without reinforcements, without the Panzers, the Atlantic Wall cannot hold. He's right. Nightfall. 11 p.m., June 6, 1944. 156,000 Allied soldiers are ashore in France. 10,000 casualties. 4,414 confirmed dead. It's not the 10,000 casualties Eisenhower feared, but it's close. The beaches are secured, but the Allies are nowhere near their D-Day objectives. They're supposed to be 10 miles inland. Most are only 2 to 3 miles in. Caen, the key objective, is still in German hands. But they're ashore. The Atlantic Wall is breached. The liberation of Europe has begun. Private Robert Sales sits in a foxhole near Omaha Beach. He's alive. Wounded, but alive. Around him, the sounds of war continue. Artillery, small arms fire, the cries of wounded men. He thinks about the men who didn't make it, the bodies on the beach, his friends. Why did I survive, he wonders. He doesn't know. Nobody does. But he did, and tomorrow he'll fight again. The aftermath. D-Day was just the beginning. The Battle of Normandy lasted 77 days. 425,000 Allied and German soldiers killed, wounded, or missing. But D-Day succeeded. The Second Front was opened. Germany now fought on 2 fronts. The war in Europe would end in 11 months. Eisenhower's letter taking responsibility for failure was never published. He tore it up. General Cota, who rallied the men on Omaha Beach, survived the war. He never spoke about D-Day. "I just did my job," he said. John Steele, who hung from the church steeple, survived. He returned to Sainte-Mère-Église many times. The town erected a dummy paratrooper on the church steeple in his honor. It's still there today. The Rangers of Pointe du Hoc held their position for 2 days against German counterattacks. Of 225 Rangers, only 90 survived D-Day. By the time they were relieved, only 33 could still fight. Private Robert Sales survived the war. He returned to Virginia. He never talked about Omaha Beach. When asked, he could only say, "I was lucky." Rommel never recovered from D-Day. On July 17, 1944, his car was strafed by Allied fighters. He was severely wounded. On October 14, 1944, Hitler, suspecting Rommel's involvement in the plot to assassinate him, forced Rommel to commit suicide. Rommel took poison. He was 52. Hitler committed suicide on April 30, 1945. Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945. The Atlantic Wall, Hitler's impregnable fortress, was breached in 1 day. The cost. 9,387 Allied soldiers are buried in the Normandy American Cemetery overlooking Omaha Beach. Each grave marked with a white cross or Star of David. Row after row after row. 172 acres of white markers. The average age? 23. On June 6th, every year, veterans return. Fewer each year. Most are in their 90s now. Soon there will be none. They walk the beaches. They remember their friends. They cry. Why did I survive? They still ask. There's no answer. But because they fought, because they died, Europe was liberated. Nazism was defeated. Civilization was saved. President Ronald Reagan, speaking at Normandy on the 40th anniversary of D-Day, said, "These are the boys of Pointe du Hoc. These are the men who took the cliffs. These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war." The last line of the Normandy American Cemetery inscription reads, "Think not only upon their passing, remember the glory of their spirit."